And now we're going to pull out the pressurized 2-inch reaction chamber of the 2000P. It's similar to all of our other pressurized models. This guy is a little more complicated, but removal is the same. We still have the 4 nuts in the corner, the 2 compression fittings. This is stainless steel, 9/16 as opposed to 5/8 up here, as well as loosening the boot in the back. And then we can remove the chamber. We're going to start with the bottom end cap first, but first we have to remove all the Allen screws. And then remove the screws from the top end cap. We'll start off by giving the bottom end cap a slight twist to break the O-ring connection. To use finger strength or the tool that came along with the Clearwater Tech toolbox. And then we'll use a flathead screwdriver and ease the end cap off very, very gently. Use the fins as leverage points. With these pressurized chambers, we'll want to be extra careful as the glass is thinner than other systems. And off it comes. We'll repeat for the back side, or the top side reaction chamber. Ease the end cap off, and out comes the dielectric. Now we'll go ahead and pull off the dielectric assembly from the end cap, slide back the cap and expose the screw. Once it's unthreaded enough, it should come off the brush on the interior. It'll come apart in some fashion. Now we'll go ahead and remove the O-rings. Use the same dental pick as in the toolbox. And scoop out the exterior too. Careful not to gouge out the Teflon end cap. There's 2 small ones in the center of this guy. Now over time they will decay just from heat. You may have to use the tip of the dental tool to run it through the groove to clear out any of the debris manually. We'll then use a little bit of denatured alcohol to clear out the interior of the end cap, a wire brush to clear out any of the debris. Alternatively, we could just use a rag of some kind and a flathead screwdriver. Just be sure to run it through all the grooves that you can possibly. In the maintenance kit, we've got the O-rings for the system, as well as these 2 mysterious washers. While we're cleaning out the end caps, let's go ahead and remove the 2 elbows and change out these Viton washers. There's a stainless steel washer that's underneath it that acts as the anchor. Yep, just throw them away. And we'll put in the new ones. Make sure everything is nice and settled. We're going to go ahead and re-tape up the threads of this and just screw it back down. So we have our fitting that's got the Teflon tape removed and retaped. We've got the stainless steel washer underneath the Viton washer, and we will screw it back down. Now we do want to seat this all the way down, so we're actually using those washers, but we don't want on the interior to bow that out, as this will come in contact with glass and possibly break it. So there is a point to stop. You'll feel it, and you won't see it on the interior. Now that we have the end caps cleaned, the elbow fittings have been retaped, as well as the Viton washers have been replaced, we're going to go ahead and insert in the O-rings, but first we're going to add a little lubrication to them, as it makes the whole job a whole lot easier. We use just a silicone lubricant, specifically a dielectric grease. And we'll continue until all of them are greased. With the lubed O-rings, we will go ahead and start adding them in. Make sure we don't cross any grooves, just like any other end cap. Typically use the back of the dental pick to make sure everything gets in its proper groove. If required, hone out the cathode to clear out any debris. And afterwards, we'll clean it out with alcohol. And push a rag through. Now that the end caps are cleaned and basically assembled, we'll set them aside for the moment and work on the dielectric assembly. Go ahead and make sure that your hands are clean of the silicone lubricant before we start touching any of this other stuff. First, we'll push out the brush and reattach that adapter that may or may not have came off on first disassembly. Now, cleaning the interior of the glass is not as important as the exterior. I am concerned specifically with this inner edge right here where there may or may not be any O-ring residue. Go ahead and make sure that's completely removed. Typically using alcohol as the only liquid. Now this shim here is just a stainless steel sheet that we use to spread out the voltage all along the dielectric glass. I'm going to make sure that it has no rips, tears, or folds. We're not terribly interested in cleaning it, just that it's intact. When it's inserted into the glass, we want to make sure that it's centered and does not drift up or down. This is where we start breaking stuff if we forget this part. So when we're sliding everything back in, we're going to want to pinch on the inside and outside of the glass to make sure that it doesn't shift. But we'll set it aside for now and attach the brush to the top end cap so we can assemble everything. There we go. We'll go ahead and re-secure the top and slide the brush in. Now we're just going to wiggle it a little bit to make sure everything is centered over the O-rings. Re-secure the top and push straight down. You should feel it pop past two O-ring connections. Now that the top dielectric assembly has been completed, we'll put on our bottom end cap, dry. This allows us to be a little more rough with it than we would normally, as there's no glass in there. Go ahead and anchor it on, spin it slightly, make sure everything is golden. And we're going to go ahead and put in the screws just to make sure nothing shifts out of the way. I'm going to put them in and tighten them. Now for the final assembly. It's going to wipe off any fingerprints that are possibly on the glass. And we will want to set the reaction chamber up on a table and settle the top assembly in. Once this is done, we'll go ahead and press straight down from the top. We do this to spread out the tension on the glass so we're popping past 4 O-ring connections still, the interior and exterior, but we're spreading it out between 2 here and 2 here. because the glass is thinner, we need to do this to make sure everything works. You should feel it pop past 2 O-ring connections, and then we just simply put the screws back in.